Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Struggling Hunters. Today is episode 99. And actually, I kind of wanted to start this episode by saying we got 99 problems, but making an episode ain't one. Now, it's kind of exciting being here. Obviously, next week we got 100. It's a pretty cool feeling. You know, we've been working hard on trying to make this hunting podcast go and making it, into something. And I mean, we've been having so much that. I'm sure, Joe, you are too, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So hopefully the listeners are excited about us being at 99, or
Hopefully.
you guys are the only reason that we are here, really. I mean, we've had growth along the way and just kind of keep growing. And it's overwhelming, because we're probably not the best marketers whenever it comes to this stuff. And like, just to see the people that follow us and listen to us is pretty cool. So appreciate, I mean, it's all because of you guys that we're here at 99. So I'm just pretty excited about it. And tonight we got some stuff to go over. I guess I could get started in Joe and I. This weekend we were hanging out, and the first time I ever went to Shills over in Utah, and it was a pretty cool store, man. It was really cool. The Ferris wheel, obviously.
Yeah.
We were only there for a little bit. I had to hold Joe back and tell him he couldn't ride it because we had to get going. But and then that fish tank was pretty cool. That Shill store is just a really neat store. I like how down below is kind of more. How would you explain that, Joe?
More like I guess say almost average person friendly. Like, it's more
I guess it's
closed.
kind. Right,
Like
right.
you don't have to be into the hunting world to be in there, more or
Kind of
less.
like recreational outdoors, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, more.
Non-specific to like, it's more just general outdoors, not specific to any particular thing in the outdoors.
Yeah. But what's neat about it is like I was telling you, I'm like, man, my wife could come and hang out downstairs basically, and I could have all my fun upstairs, and hopefully we don't spend too much money. So,
Right.
but it's kind of funny. So we were just kind of looking around, but we did come across the turkey load, since turkey season is coming up here soon. And I have a Cabela's card because where I'm at, it's it's that's all we have is Cabela's. So I have a Cabela's card that I use everywhere. And whenever we went to go buy the turkey load shotgun shells, um, the girl was like, what's that card? And I'm like, oh yeah, huh? So it was kind of funny though. I kind of laughed about it. Just had a Cabela's card at Shields. It was like I offended her or something. But what did you think about holding those $1,200 bows?
Oh, that was fun. It was interesting. It was kind of nice to I guess to put a hand on some of those upper tier bows, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
Just to, I'm used to my what do you call it? My history of bows is old. Like, my two bows that I've been hunting with the past 3 years, I think there's a combined age of like probably 40, 50 years. If I put the two bows together with how old they are, it probably adds up to about 50 years old or more.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, but you got your newest and latest and greatest.
Yeah, my newest
So
one. yeah, but still, those newer ones there though, that it was just nice to, I guess you want to call it the ergonomics of how the bows set in your hand and how they feel. There was a little different of a balance to them, but they felt, not that don't think mine doesn't feel quite good or not bad. I'm getting lost in my words, but those newer ones, they have had I guess just to use a little bit more friendlier feel to them, I guess, or resting in your hands.
I think that's the thing with those bows, the higher tier bows, is you look at them, I have an entry level bow, you kind of have a mid-range bow, and you see those higher tier bows, and just like looking at them, you're like, what's the difference? They fling out arrows, like what's the big deal? Until you actually feel them, then you're like, oh, I get it. I get why they're $1,200 now.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty nice. They're pretty nice. I definitely want to get my hands on one in the future. Speaking of that, though, I'm actually in the process of, it's an older bow, but it's a PSE source, and
Source the model.
the model, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if you're like, it's a PSE, but kind of sourced
Oh
made
yeah,
by someone else. That's PSE sources too.
yeah. Yeah, I don't, if you know anything about, I don't really know a lot about PSE. I know they're pretty good bows, but yeah, I got a pretty good deal on it recently. Kind of like the bow community, if you will. A friend of mine was selling his, and so anyways, I'm kind of excited about it. I should be getting it here in the next couple of days. Um and get that all set up and ready to shoot, and just one of those deals you couldn't pass up. He's wanting to sell it for whatever reason, and called me up and was, and I was almost like, nah, I'm all right. But it's kind of, I think it's that higher mid, it is about 7-8 years old, but at the same time, it's kind of that mid higher range bow, dual limb kind of bow. So and I've shot it before. Actually, I actually have a little bit of history with it, and I really liked it. So pretty excited about getting it. I just have to get some goodies for it, and I'll be ready to rock. It has as of right now, as it sets, it's the PSE bow, but it also has some aftermarket strings.
Oh,
So
you
which is
say
pretty
that as
nice.
if like, it's like it's like a pickup truck or like, a sports car with some aftermarket engine setting in it.
Yeah. Well, the way I understand aftermarket strings is that I guess it really helps the vibration and stuff in the bow. And the guy that I'm buying the bow from is the one that's kind of sold me on this way before he's sold me the bow. He was telling me that my current bow, my diamond, he's like, you gotta get some I can't remember the brand names, but he's like, you gotta get some aftermarket strings on that and really settle down that vibration, and more consistent shooting, more accurate, and but he definitely sold me on the idea. So yeah, so I'll be getting that soon though, and
Cool.
I'm pretty excited about that. And yeah, I guess that's about all I have for that. I mean, not much more to talk about, but um excited to be hanging with the big boys, I guess, getting getting above the entry level bow.
Right.
Um but I mean, man, I really like my diamond. I mean, I have no complaints. I know I'm kind of a beginner in the game, and as I move up in bow and throughout time or whatever, I'm sure I'll understand the difference, and And but that diamond's been good to me. I mean, I shoot fairly accurate with it, and uh, it's just been a good bow, so I can't complain. And my wife, I think my wife is kind of jacked about it because I'm gonna hand that basically down to her to shoot. So all
Cool.
good, all good.
Yeah. So hopefully, I guess you're kind of banking on the fact that you got a new bow, so that's going to make you a better hunter.
Yeah, no, probably not.
That's
No, no, hopefully though. Hopefully, I can't remember for sure, but that particular bow, it's
comes with the guarantee of killing an elk.
it should, yeah. No, the axle is a little longer,
Oh, okay.
which I mean, I guess in some ways could be a downfall, but my whenever I shot it before, I really liked the way it felt, and the axle. I want to say it was 32 or 33 inches axle to axle, or
Okay.
somewhere in there, and but I kind of liked the way it angled and everything, and it did feel like it made me I shot better with it.
Well, they say that the greater the distance between axle to axle, the more accurate the bow is.
It makes sense because I mean my limited experience with it, and doing or shooting a different bow, uh when he's selling it to me with nothing on it, but he did have it all set up the way he liked it and everything, and he had stabilizers front and back, and I mean he kind of had it all set up to where whenever I shot it, it was pretty comfortable, and everything was set up to make it pretty accurate. But I mean, just I remember releasing the arrow with it, and it just felt like a nice bow. And I thought whenever I first got my diamond bow that it didn't have much vibration, but whenever I shot that bow, I remember kind of taking note of, I'm like, man, there was even less vibration.
Gotcha.
So, which is those aftermarket strings is part of that.
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
bringing it back full circle here. I see
Bringing
what
it
you're
back
doing.
full circle. Exactly.
Proving a point that it's all about those aftermarket strings. It doesn't matter who you are as a hunter or what equipment you're using. It's like the shoelaces in a pair of shoes.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of funny you say that. I mean, I think it's very important to be as accurate as you can, but I've kind of thought about that a lot. Everybody's always trying to hit quarters with their arrow or with their bow, and like making all these little tweaks, and I think it's all important, but I'm like, man, on an elk, you got such a big kill zone. Like if you're a little off left or right, like I mean, it's not that you want to slough it off. It's just I guess like or one of my thoughts is like whisker biscuit versus drop away. The whisker bit or the drop away is slightly more accurate than the whisker biscuit, but only at greater distances from the research that I've read. And so I'm like, I'm trying to evaluate pros
How
and
cool you
cons
are
of that.
with what you have on your bow.
Yeah, like, but well, that's it. Like just trying to evaluate what the ups and downs of that, is the drop away worth the money?
Just to gain a 32 of an inch of more accuracy.
Exactly. But I kind of do want drop aways because I want to eventually get to where I'm putting my own fletchings on the arrows. I
Uh-huh.
want to I want to try that helical
Uh,
fletching. I don't know why. It just seems so cool to. I'm surprised that, well, they probably do sell them. I don't know. I'm sure somebody has to sell them that way.
right. Right. I'm sure you can probably find some custom arrow maker that would do them too.
For sure. For sure.
But it's kind of interesting as we sat here talking about, like the different types of equipment you can put on your bow. And and you're looking at doing you wanting to go like to a drop away, and I think my bow has a whisker biscuit on it right now, and I'll probably get a hunt with it this year. Like, but like I guess it doesn't really, the only thing that I think is awesome about the dropaways is the technology. I think that's pretty cool. But like for me, I kind of want to keep my bow as simple as possible, and meaning that I don't want a lot of extra moving parts that might break on me when I'm out in the woods. You know, so it's just interesting and funny. Like not funny, but just the two different mindsets between you and I in a way.
Well, I don't know, like that's where I kind of agree with you, and I've hesitated with the evaluate or not evaluating, weighing out which one is, because you're right, out in the woods, less moving parts, less chances of things going wrong.
Right.
And so I like the whisker biscuit that way. With the drop away and like the helical arrows and stuff, it's more of just because I am kind of a gadget guy, or
Right.
I
Well,
like shiny, I like shiny things. So like I
shiny
want to
things or the
try
price tag.
probably a little of both. But on a practical sense, that's the word I was looking for. On
Okay.
a practical sense, I think the whisker biscuit out in the woods when you're hunting is probably the better option, because of the fact that it's less moving parts. Drop away people are probably going to get mad at me for saying that, but I mean it's kind of, it's a factor.
Right.
So
I mean, I'd not, like I said, I think the technology behind it's awesome. If I'm not really going to make fun of anybody or even you, if that's the route you decide to go, like, I'll do it. When you break down, I'll do whatever needs to be done to help you.
just carry my extra whisker biscuit.
Will do.
Well, so a lot of people that I've talked to that have dropaways,
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, I carry a whisker biscuit in my bag." So I'm like, so you're kind of expecting it to fail,
Right.
and you have to go back to the whisker biscuit. Problem is though, is now in the woods, you're gonna try to make sure that you're lined up and square and everything else, So
Right.
why not just have the whisker biscuit? That's why I'm saying, like, it goes back and forth. Like I said,
Right.
because of I am kind of I like shiny things and new gadgets and stuff, and
Well,
so I
that
do like the drop away, but on a practical sense, I think a whisker biscuit is kind of better in the woods.
and that's kind of like, I guess the philosophy that I've been trying, you try to navigate yourself as a hunter and build up that belief zone of what you believe in and what you stand behind as a hunter and person. And like as for me, this kind of taking it down another rabbit hole, but kind of along the same lines, like as I'm trying to decide even what gear I'm using, from from pack to pants to boots to hardware of rifle, archery equipment and all that, is for me is kind of how simple can I keep it. And and some of my, like, we're going kind of down a rabbit hole of cost too, is pay more for some things, less for some other objects or items in my pack or what I'm wearing. It just kind of goes along to what you want and what you're willing to do.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to train my mind to kind of keep it as simple as possible for for the budget side of it and for what may break when I'm out in the woods.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a good philosophy. Like that digital that digital bow sight that we
Yeah.
saw at Shills.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. I didn't look, but I could see that actually it appeared, and I could be wrong, but it appeared that it wasn't it wasn't illuminated. So it was
Oh,
it was digital, but it wasn't illuminated. So we saw this bow sight, and we were kind of like checking that. At first, what I thought it was like a rangefinder kind of like on your bow. That's what I thought it was at first, because I just saw the digital number. And then I got to looking at it, and it wasn't a rangefinder, but when you're trying to make a quick adjustment and your target is out at 45 or whatever yards, it'll digitally show it on the screen. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Is kind of battery life being one. You gotta consider, think about that when you're out there hunting. And then I don't think those digital numbers were illuminated.
uh,
So if it's, early in the morning, like it's first light, but it's still kind of that dark, you might have a hard time seeing your
right.
distance. Oh, it was for a single pin too, I think. Wasn't it a
Uh,
single pin?
yeah, it was a single pin.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, it was cool. Like the idea of it was cool,
Right.
or the thought of it was cool, but practicality, I don't know if it was practical.
And like, it's like I talk like I have this hard no for everything that's like mechanical or, like new or whatnot. Like I wouldn't never put it down to really try something. That's just what I'm trying to keep myself set up for, keeping things simple. So that way I don't have to have a headache, when I'm out in the woods or scared something might break or is broken and I can't fix.
Yeah.
But I'm not opposed to trying something like that or, you know,
Yeah. I kind of want to try it all. I definitely want to try a drop away eventually. Like I said, I want to try a drop away with the helical
uh,
spin or the
right.
fletchings, just because I just think it's kind of cool. And
True. True.
just get that arrow to spin that much tighter, to be that much more accurate whenever it leaves your bow. Just
Right.
seems pretty cool. So
True.
um well, I guess do you want to talk about?
Well, I was just gonna say maybe we should start winding down because we seem to go down a rabbit hole as we'll wind stuff up. We'll spend an extra 10 or 15 minutes on things, trying to keep it a little bit shorter tonight. And I was gonna say, was there anything we want to kind of closing thoughts on what we've discussed or
If you're in Colorado, the draw for deer and elk is opened up, or big game is opened up for the draw. So I put in for mine tonight. Joe actually helped me find the codes while
that's
I
something that's
was
new or kind of confusing. So I don't mean to cut you off, but like it's between the two states of Utah and Colorado is understanding those dang hunt codes in Colorado. Like Utah, you just click into your deer and or elk, whatever, and then you click what unit you want to hunt. And where in Colorado, you gotta like type in a bunch of. I guess it kind of helps because I mean Utah, I think has those hunt codes too, but the way you put in for it, you don't have to put in the hunt code. You just click on the name of the area you want to hunt.
Yeah, I agree with you. Colorado is weird that way. I wish Colorado kind of simplified it a little more, but once you get used to it, I mean, it gets easier. You kind of understand the game, but there's definitely a learning curve to putting in for all that on Colorado side for sure. I don't really know exactly what Utah side looks like, but it's yeah, it's definitely a pain.
Yeah, and then kind of on the continue on that note as far as hunting goes, we have turkey season coming up, so I think we'll be talking a little bit more about turkey season and what to expect in coming up season and what you need to do to be ready for it as far as tags being getting obtained and maybe what to look for when you're in a turkey area.
Perfect.
Um,
Sounds good. Yeah, go ahead and get us out of here, Joe.
yeah, all right, I'll get us out of here. Guys, thanks for listening. We appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Continue listening to us. Subscribe, like it, and we'll catch up with you guys in a week. Have a good one. Bye.
Later, guys.